Hello, Zoran, and welcome to the Business Advisory Show.
Yeah, hello, John. Good to be here.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
Overdue meetings. You and I have been talking about having a strategy discussion, and
At least 2 years.
At least 2 years ago.
At
Yeah,
least
yeah.
2 years.
and here we are at MYOB Partner Connect 2019 in Melbourne. Would you mind telling us a little about your business?
Well, what we do, we sell businesses and do business valuation. Probably 90% of our work is actually business valuation. We do about $60 million worth of value of the businesses sold every year. And we got the offices on Eastern Seaboard, so Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Canberra, and Adelaide now.
Fantastic. And what types of businesses are you typically valuing?
Well, with valuation, we'll value anything that comes to us. So we do a lot of accounting practices, we do operate in medical space, and we do general business, import, export, even retail and hospitality. Valuations are normally needed when the actual sale of the business doesn't take place. So you're looking valuations for, unfortunate circumstances such as family separation, or fortunate circumstances like a family separation.
You're not talking about me now, are you?
Just general. Also, partnership splits, or when you're doing a restructure of the business or anything like that. So, and we sell all sorts of businesses, mainly operate business to business and business to consumer, don't do much of retail and hospitality.
And what is the biggest mistake small business owners make about their expectations about valuation?
Okay, that's a good question. So we got an internal joke, says fastest way to value the business is ask the owner how much he wants for it and then half it. And it's extremely accurate. I am not kidding, it's extremely accurate. And I'll be talking about this today as well. What people do when you take a business to the market and you overprice it, well, puts people off. So if I've got $1 million business and I'm trying to sell it to $1 million, what happens is you're going to think one of the two things. Either I'm not serious about selling it, or you're going to say, well, it's too far, the expectations are too far apart, so you won't even the buyer won't even put the offer. So you go on the market with overpriced business, and it sits there for about 6 months. A lot of people look at it, no offers, you start dropping down the price. 12 months down the track, you're down half in value. You're now on the market price. Everybody who sees that business, first thing that they think is, what's wrong with it? Why didn't it sell for 12 months? But there was nothing wrong with it. And about 80%, and this is my guesstimate, about 80% of the people or business owner goes to that process and actually sell the business below the market value because they started too high. It's very simple. Price it accurately, put it on the, be less flexible on the price, put it on the market with accurate price, is going to sell very, very quick.
So typically, business owners stop emotionally valuing your business and actually get some advice and get it priced properly from the start.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not what you need, it's what the market wants to pay.
Yeah, absolutely. I would believe this to have an enormous value add for accountants and bookkeepers as something that they would introduce as an occasional once every 2 or 3 years for every one of their clients. Is that something that you're seeing happen?
More and more. So we got business advisors like yourself and quite a few accountants that would do this on a regular basis as a part of the exit strategy, and a lot of coaches and business advisors use this as the actual ultimate measurement. So it's not how many people you got, how much money you're making or not making, or what your turnover is where the value of the business, but the real value. If you needed to sell it in next 6 months, what is the value of your equity? What are you sitting on? Yeah. More and more.
I love that, and I think that what the Business Advisory Show is all about is trying to inspire and encourage accountants and bookkeepers to actually stop being just a compliance sort of tax or bookkeeping practice and deliver value to their clients. Now, what better way to do that than to challenge their client every 2 or 3 years to truly understand the market value of their business?
Absolutely. Look, I'll tell you an interesting story in that I've been running this business for 15 years. Prior to that, I had a different business, and I remember probably now over 20 years ago, I had a coach, and I was talking to the coach, and he said to me on one of the first businesses, first meetings, as you always do. What are you going to do in a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, that jazz. But one thing that stuck with me is he asked me, look, what do you want your value of your business to be? What's the value of your business today? What's it going to be in 3 years? What's it going to be in 5 years? And I never thought about it in terms of the value. I didn't even think that I ever going to sell it. I was there to run it. I loved my business. And he really made me think about it. And that's when I started my journey about, like, you know, business sales and valuations and everything else. But I can relate to the owners. I can understand that they never think about it until 50% of the, well, more than 50%, almost all of them, but statistics, some of the statistics I read, they say 50% of the exits are involuntary. So either something happens in your business or in your life and you have to sell it. And normally you got no more than a few months to actually do it. And until that day, they never thought about the value of the business. And it's a shame. You really need to start thinking about what the value is, what the value of your business is. Even if you're not thinking of selling it, where am I sitting? The exercise will help you understand what the value drivers are, so you can work on those value drivers to improve. It's actually simple. Everything that you do to improve your value business, so working with people like you, that improves their business and their life, will improve the value of the business as well. So it works together.
Yeah, I totally agree. How many times do you find that the valuation leads to? How many times do you find that the valuation leads to the need for the business owners to sort of go back to the drawing board, or you know, really make some serious changes to the business?
Often. So we receive approximately, over the last 12 months, about 150 people come to us to sell the businesses, and less than 20% actually say, well, okay, if this is the value, I'll do it. Most of them say, well, you know, my expectations are much higher, so I got to go back to the drawing board and do what I need to do. Some of them, unfortunately, try to sell it for more and then experience what I just explained earlier, all right? And then they come to us later. So sometimes it's a hard, you know, bitter pill to swallow. Yeah. You know, you spend 20 years in your business building it, and you're pricing your 20 years. Well, you can't put a price on it. And I remember once one lady said to me, we value her business on $75,000. And she said, so you're telling me that 15 years of my life, it's worth $75,000. I said, no, I'm telling you, your business is worth $75,000. But I'm sure you had some good times and you earned the income through it. It's not what you want to sell it, it's what the buyer wants to pay for it that you got to keep in mind.
Now, where this is really valuable is for accountants and bookkeepers out there, even if you want to be moving quite aggressively into a holistic business advisory service, this is one thing I would not encourage you to do internally. You're far better to have an expert organisation like Zoran's doing the valuation, because then it's almost like the bad cop is telling the customer the truth, right? And it helps you then, the bookkeeper or accountant or business advisor like myself, you know, to pick up the pieces and start to transition them to plan B. So what do we need to do now to ultimately sell the business?
And to improve the business. Look, it's a really good point. So not telling them the value or sugarcoat it, it's not going to help them. Telling them the value, it's going to put them in the right direction so they'll understand what they need to work on in order to improve it. So look, it will generate more work for accountants and bookkeepers, without a doubt, but it's not what it's all about. That work will generate more value for your client. So it's nothing to be shy about. It's actually, it needs to be done. It needs to be done. I heard you talking earlier, and you were talking about 2.1 million businesses in Australia, and my calculation is that somewhere around 4 to 5% of those businesses are on the market. Now, I think 50 or 60% of those businesses are less than 50,000. So the sellable businesses, there's probably about 30 to 40,000 businesses in the market at any given time. And I can guarantee you that most of them never had this conversation with the accountant or the bookkeeper. Look, where's the value? What do I do? It's a shame. We owe it to business community to actually educate them on the business value and business sales.
That's an excellent point you make. We do owe it to the business community. We absolutely do. And this is what the Business Advisor Show is all about. accountants and bookkeepers, you've got to step up. You've actually got to help your business clients to understand that they aren't an emotional valuation. They've got to have a bit of a jolt, a bit of a prod, and to get some practical assessment about where they're really at.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and
See, the value doesn't come from the seller. The value comes from the buyer, because in most cases, seller has to sell. Most of the people that go on the market, and it's another thing they are going to be talking about, it's what's your plan B? So they go without a plan B. So it's a do or die decision. I have to sell it. So what control you got? Well, you got none. The seller dictates the control. But it's not just your business. It's any business that's on the market that I'm comparing you against. And any other possible investment out there on the market. So if I got $1 million and I'm looking for investment, it's not just your business or other businesses, it's all other investments. So I can put in the shares, which is, very liquid and everything else. So people buy businesses for two reasons, and one of them is to get employment and to get a cash flow. The other one is to grow their business. There's a few others, but these are two main ones. But ultimately, they buy the businesses to improve their situation. So they'll be really, really wise how they're going to spend the money and what value they're going to put on your business. And that's why you really have to understand the market in order to understand the value of the business. So you got to stay away from those academic valuations such as discounted cash flow and all that. Buyers don't think that way. They say, well, okay, if I'm getting this much profit, how quickly do I want this paid back, and what the risk is associated with the business. So what we do when we do our valuations, we really focus on the market. We look at the comparable sales, and we got a feel for the market, because we see, like I said, about 150 businesses come to us, close to 2,000 businesses come to us every year to sell, and we take about 15% of that. So we got a really, really good feeling what's selling, what's not selling. And by the way, everything is sellable if the price is right. Okay, so our valuations are heavily reliant on the market evidence. So we look at the market evidence, we look at the characteristics of the businesses that we value and compare this with the group of businesses that we sold in the past, and that's where that's how we arrive to valuation, and are very, very accurate. Normally, it's like 5 to 10% up and down, and most of our businesses sell within that range that we say it's going to sell.
Yeah, I think that's a great insight for accountants and bookkeepers. Rather than going with a traditional methodology, and I dare I say it's being taught in accounting school as well, as part of professional qualifications, is that discounted cash flows and the impact of a three-way cash flow and stuff like that. The truth is, what are the buyers paying for that type of business that's about that big and and has those sets of circumstances to be dealt with? Yeah.
Look, it's simple. It's not complex, but you have to have evidence. You need to know. You have to have a data, and if you have a data, you can arrive to really accurate valuation for any business you're selling.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, so great insight here. Maybe we should cut a webinar for our accountants and bookkeepers.
I'd love to. And also just to plug for myself, if I may. All right, we're desperate to find the good accounting practices they want to sell. We got a large number of the buyers for the last 2-3 years. The market's been really, really good for accounting practices. So if you're an accountant and thinking of exiting, please give us a call. It won't cost you anything. It's a free offer for you. Normally we charge for this type of stuff, but to give you your opinion of the value, and it's accurate value, market value for what you can expect to sell your business and what terms, look us up, give us a call, and we'll see if we can help.
Fantastic. Thanks, Zoran. Thanks for coming on the show. Not at all, mate. No.
You're welcome. Thanks.